Mackay and welcome to MacHack. And thank you very much to Deb Allen from Split Spaces for including the Queensland AI Hub in this event. My name is Sue Kay and I'm the CEO of the Queensland Artificial Intelligence Hub. And recently I was fortunate enough to visit Mackay and discover some of the really interesting artificial intelligence technologies that are being developed right there in the Whitsundays region, but also to see some of the innovative applications of artificial intelligence in the region. So there are a lot of opportunities coming up at the moment for the application of artificial intelligence. And the reason for that is really just obvious if you follow the money. So we know that worldwide spending in artificial intelligence is increasing all around the world. Many countries, sadly apart from Australia, have a national strategy around artificial intelligence and are injecting significant funds into the area. And this is a good indicator that it is a technology that is worth paying attention to. And that's something that you'll be able to explore during this MacHack weekend. So what's the Queensland AI Hub? We're here to build the artificial intelligence ecosystem in Queensland and more broadly in Australia, because we are the first of our kind in the country. And hopefully we can lead by example and the other states will follow. Part of our role is about showcasing local artificial intelligence talent and technologies. And this is an invitation I'd like to extend to all of you that as you're developing artificial intelligence applications, we would love to be able to showcase them here at the Queensland AI Hub so that we can help to amplify your stories and potentially help to get investment or interest from potential partners in the work that you are doing. Another aspect of what we're doing is encouraging the adoption of artificial intelligence technologies by reaching out to governments and corporates and giving them an insight into how these technologies can be applied in their businesses. We are also looking to position Queensland as a global AI centre. We already know that we produce some great talent and technologies right here in Queensland, and we want to have the sort of environment that encourages those people to stay here in Australia, and if at all possible, to encourage more people to move here to Queensland and start artificial intelligence businesses. And another part of what we do is about partnering with groups like Split Spaces to help deliver programs to develop AI talent and upskill the general community. So quite a few things to be done. And because I happen to be talking to you from the Hub's physical location in Brisbane, I thought I would give you a quick tour. So just have a quick look around. I'm actually calling you from one of what we call our Transformer Labs, where we invite corporates and government to come in and spend some time, and we pair them with local AI capability so that they can work on solving some AI challenges in their business. So we have 3 Transformer Labs. I'm just exiting one now, but we also have a demo space where, as I said, I'd invite you, if you're creating some artificial intelligence technologies, to share some video or some actual physical material with us that we can share with people. So I'm not sure if you can see there, but we have a range of different spaces where we bring people in and we talk about the types of artificial intelligence technologies that we're developing here in Queensland. So I'm not sure if you get a good view here, but here's some of the rest of the hub, a number of screens, different demonstration spaces. And this is with the aim that we can take through trade delegations, or we could take through school groups, also that we can really promote the type of work that's happening right here in Queensland. Yes, here's another one of our demonstration spaces. And in the background there, you can see our sort of collaboration hub, where many of the Queensland AI Hub staff are working and people who are visiting the area. So please come and drop by if you are in Brisbane. The other thing that I wanted to show, oh yes, right behind me. This is a piece of collaboration that we've done with the Brisbane Street Art Festival. This is one that we're happy to host within our own hub space, which is where we partnered with street artists with AI researchers and got them to put together their vision of what artificial intelligence is. So there's a number of these public installations around Brisbane now. And it's been a really interesting collaboration, I guess, showing the emotional side of artificial intelligence, which a lot of people don't really take into account. All right, so that was a quick tour of the hub. And yes, hopefully I'll make it up to Mackay soon. But in the meantime, if you're down in Brisbane, please come in and visit us. Now, artificial intelligence covers a wide range of things. Sometimes people only talk about it as if it includes machine learning and machine learning alone, but it's much broader than that. My background is more from the robotics and cyber physical systems side of things. So, I have a particular interest in the, development of sensing systems and I guess the physical applications of artificial intelligence. And I know that there are many of those in evidence up in the Mackay and Isaac Whitsunday region. And, I think some of the sectors that Mackay has strengths in are ones where we also, as a nation, have developed key strengths. So Australia was the first country in the world to automate many of our mine sites. This is just an example of an automated load haulage vehicle that probably many of you are familiar with. We've also been leading the world. My role before this role with Queensland AI Hub was as Research Director for Cyber Physical Systems with CSIRO's Data 61. And we partnered with some local companies on a DARPA Grand Challenge, which was subterranean, which meant that we were developing robot teams that could operate underground and be able to get situational awareness in an area where it might be unclear whether it's safe to send people down. Now, as many of you would know, this is still a real challenge because there's no GPS underground and communications in these areas can be very difficult, particularly when you're trying to have these robots not just communicate with one another, but also communicate with an operator up on the surface to interpret what's going on. In this case, we were partnering with a company called BIA5 that did the ground robot there with the tracks, and also with a company called Emerson, which has developed an autonomous drone technology that can operate underground without human remote control. As you can see there, the robots work together. The Ozbot would take the drone in, the drone would launch from the back of the robot and go off and explore in different areas. And I guess the area where Australia really led the way in the DARPA challenge was in terms of the navigation and the mapping. So each of these are working off a unit called using a Wildcat system developed by CSIRO. And so all of the information collected from the robots could be shared, and they actually could correct one another's maps, which is in real time, which was the first time this has been demonstrated in the world. So there's a lot of great stuff happening right here in Australia in terms of how we're applying artificial intelligence. I just want to give you a couple more examples. Obviously, you're probably familiar with the use of autonomous, particularly drones for asset inspection. It's a real challenge in Australia. We have thousands of kilometres of roads, bridges, pipelines that all need to, and things that need to be inspected. And it's much easier to do that if we don't have to require people to be looking at every component. A local company called EMB has been working on an artificial intelligence solution to help prevent accidents between people and heavy machinery. So that's a local example of where artificial intelligence is being applied. Up in Townsville, there's a company called Lixia, which has been developing sensors for structural health monitoring. And they're just commercializing their technology at the moment. Another company based here in Brisbane called Movis has developed what they call a Fitbit for machines, which uses artificial intelligence to track vibration monitoring on pieces of equipment. So it can be used for preventative maintenance to predict when a piece of equipment is going to wear out. And when I was in Mackay, I was lucky to meet up with Varion, who are developing sensors that do a similar job, but a slightly different technique to work out when conveyor belts are about to, or when a part of a conveyor belt is about to fail, so that action can be taken, because nobody wants a conveyor belt going down when it's got tons of material that needs to be shipped out. And there's some fantastic examples in agriculture as well. A Queensland company called Cerastag has commercialised CSIRO technologies to have these Fitbits for cows. I understand they're now actually looking at the pet market as well, but these are very clever devices that use a lot of artificial intelligence and a lot of smarts in terms of how they don't rely on having a system of nodes to be able to communicate. They communicate directly with satellite. And that gives a lot of flexibility in terms of how that data can be used. And, you know, as with everything, all of these sensors and technologies are becoming more powerful, they're becoming cheaper, and we're miniaturizing them as much as possible. So there's more and more different applications for these types of technologies, and all reliant on artificial intelligence in some respect. And recently we were just out at Goondiwindi in Queensland's southwest, and InFarm.io is a local company there that actually uses artificial intelligence to detect weeds, and they have the weeds are detected by these drones, and the drones communicate directly with the tractors on the farm so that they can be directed and so that they can reduce the amount of herbicide that's being distributed on the farm. So those are just some very quick examples, and I'm sure there are going to be some amazing ideas in the room and over the weekend during MacHack that are going to be progressed, and I'm really looking forward to the outcomes from this weekend. I guess one thing to consider once you have got an application for artificial intelligence that you want to apply, though, is how people are going to respond to that application. So I see workforce planning as something that's really critical in all businesses, whether you're developing AI technologies or not. It's really important that we start to look at mapping our skills requirements for the future, identifying employees who will need upskilling. A good example of this has been Rio Tinto. When they started to develop autonomous load haulage vehicles, they realized that the entry-level position in mining is going to change. It's going to move from being a truck driver to something else. And so they sat down and they thought about what that something else might be. And they decided that that something else was going to be a field technician. Because if you have all of these autonomous systems operating out in the field, then you need people who understand how they work and how you can fix them. And so they actually worked with the TAFE in WA to develop a course for field technicians, so that rather than an entry-level job into the mining industry being something like a truck driver, it can now be a field technician. And I really encourage everyone to have a bit of a think about what this means for existing employees and how you can help them to transition into being able to work with these technologies, and how you can actually make their jobs easier. Just as an aside, Jeremy Howard, the founder of Fast AI, has just moved to Australia and is based in Brisbane now. So he's a Queenslander. And we are starting a first Fast AI course through Queensland AI. You can enroll or volunteer as a mentor. We'll be trying to run these a couple of times through the year. And it's a really fantastic way to brush up on your deep learning skills and learn in a peer-supported environment. I'd also encourage you to join the Queensland AI Hub community. So if you're interested in artificial intelligence, we can send you out information when there's something interesting happening. Some of the things that we're planning to do in the future is actually developing a Queensland AI strategy, which I'd love for all of you to be part of. So please send us any ideas of the things that are holding you back or things that you would like to be see being done differently. We're mapping out Australia's capability, and I hope some of you in the room will join that capability map by starting your own company soon. And we're trying to develop these communities of practice so that even if you don't necessarily have people who are experts in the area, you have people who are demonstrating best practice who you can learn from and share information with, so that you can help to build your artificial intelligence businesses. We're also looking at how we can partner with groups like Split Spaces on incubator and accelerator programs. And we have a more national body, which we call the Australia AI Collective, so that where necessary, we can give artificial intelligence a national voice. But that's all I really wanted to say. Congratulations, everyone, for coming along, spending your time investigating how you can build businesses and develop technologies. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic weekend, and I hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you.